Donatello was the greatest Florentine sculptor before Michelangelo and was the most influential individual artist of the 15th century Italy. Donatello, the early Italian Renaissance sculptor, was born Donato di Niccolò di Beto Bardi in Florence, Italy, sometime in 1386. Donatello was educated at the home of the Martellis, a wealthy and influential Florentine family of bankers and art patrons closely tied to the Medici family. In 1403, he apprenticed with Lorenzo Ghiberti. A few years later, Ghiberti was commissioned to create the bronze doors for the baptistry of the Florence Cathedral. Donatello assisted Ghiberti in creating the cathedral doors. By 1408, Donatello was back in Florence. That year, he completed the life-sized marble sculpture, David. Originally, it was intended for placement in the cathedral. Instead, it was set up in the Palazzo Vecchio as a symbol of defiance by Florentines. Between 1411 and 1413 he sculpted the marble figure Saint Mark, placed in an exterior niche of the Or Saint-Michel church. In 1415 he completed the marble statue of a seated Saint John the Evangelist for a Florence cathedral. Around 1425, Donatello entered into a partnership with Italian sculptor and architect Michelozzo, who also studied with Lorenzo Ghiberti. Donatello and Michelozzo traveled to Rome where they produced several architectural sculptural tombs including the tomb of Antipope John XXIII and the tomb of Cardinal Brancacci. These innovations in burial chambers influenced many later Florentine tombs. In 1443 Donatello was called by the family of the famous mercenary Erasmo de Narni who had died earlier that year. In 1450 Donatello completed a bronze statue called Gadomelata showing Erasmo riding a horse in full battle dress. By 1455, Donatello had returned to Florence and completed Magdalene Penitent, a statue of a gaunt-looking Mary Magdalene, commissioned by the convent at Santa Maria di Castello. The work was probably intended to provide comfort and inspiration to the repentant prostitutes at the convent. Donatello continued his work taking on commissions from wealthy art patrons. His lifelong friendship with the Medici family earned him a retirement allowance to live on the rest of his life. He died of unknown causes on December 13, 1466 in Florence and was buried in the Basilica of San Lorenzo, next to Cosimo de' Medici. An unfinished work was faithfully completed by his student Bertoldo di Giovanni.